All right, Russ, we're live. Let's talk about passive income, my friend.
Well, passive income means that you and I, at some point in time, can enjoy what a normal week in your life looks like. I guess this is where I get a chance to envision what it's like to live like Joey Murray.
How did I know? How did I know I was going to get some grief on the show?
Well, because that's what it's for. That's
Hey,
that's what my job is.
it's about reducing requirements on your time.
Mm.
Can you write that down?
Well,
Reducing requirements on your time.
so we have stayed above 100,000 in total income streams from all those number of businesses that have nothing to do with Wealth Without Wall Street going back to April of 2021, and we kept that trend alive. We actually went over 123,000 of gross income. I'm pretty excited about that number.
I'd say that's pretty amazing. I'd say
Strong to quite strong.
The Lord is blessing us, bro. This is amazing.
Um, so let's jump into the land business. One of the businesses that actually we're recently making a kind of a new investment in, extension to that business. Last month it brought in a little over 13,000, almost 14,000 in revenue. After expenses, we netted just under 10,000. That was up almost 11% over the previous month.
But
It's tracking the way I think it should be tracking, right?
Well, but here's the thing. I don't. If you're joining us for the first time on this passive income report, calling it a land business is a little misleading, right? What we're doing is we're trading land for note income. What do I mean? You're buying a piece of land for 25 cents on the dollar. You're turning around and selling it to someone else on terms. Like essentially, imagine a car payment that someone is paying you for that property, and you're getting that monthly every month for, let's say it's 5, 6, 8. We even have some properties now at 10 years where someone is paying us for that property. And so essentially, we have been trading these land parcels for upwards of now almost $10,000 a month in passive income. This is all stuff we learned from The Land Geek, right? TheLandGeek.com. If you haven't checked them out, I want to just kind of give them a plug here. They can teach you how to do the same exact thing. And we have tons of people in our community who are pursuing financial freedom by creating a side hustle with this business and then subsequently removing themselves from it to make it passive. So this is your opportunity as well, but it's one of our favorite things that we do. And man, they're not making any more of it. Let's just say that.
Well, they're not making any more of it. And if you want to hear about this, you can go to our podcast. You can just look for why land flipping is a viable option for building wealth and generating passive income with Mark Podolsky. We did that interview, Joey, over 2 years ago. September 12th of 2019 was when you and I really got super excited after that interview.
Yeah.
And we've done many interviews since then. One of the latest interviews we did was with one of our students, one of the coaching clients within Wealth Without Wall Street. He shared with us how to earn $15K a month in land flipping with Sid Christensen. So either one of those
Super
podcasts,
exciting.
if you are interested in ways to build passive income, you're someone who doesn't mind dealing with people, you have a bent toward being able to influence and communicate well. That's what I think is needed in this business. Yes, it requires details, but more so it's the ability to help people understand the opportunity that exists for them to get rid of the land, as well as opportunity that is out there for them to be able to purchase it. If those are things that you're interested in, maybe you're dealing with a situation. I was sharing this exact situation, Joy. I have a couple that I've known for, I don't know, maybe 10 years, 11 years now. And they're facing a really tough situation where their family is going through, just like everybody is, this pandemic, and the job market is requiring certain things of people. And to be honest, this family says, hey, we feel like that's just not what we want to do. That's, we have our own reasons, and good on them, right? Like, we should all have personal choice. So they're going to be like leaving the company that they've been working for. And I was saying, hey, look, based upon your technical skills, the things that you've been good at in the world for so long, this is something you should strongly consider as an option, as to how you could start creating an income stream that you get to control, that you get to call the shots, and no shot required. Pun
No
intended.
shots required.
So, I mean, that they just like, to me, I think there's opportunity for this business to be out there. An item that's sitting there blank is the Iron City cattle. Tell the listeners where we are on that, because to be honest, I'm listening too.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, we have decided to liquidate Iron City cattle, and it's because we tried really hard.
That is a lie. We did not try really hard.
Well, what I say is this. I'll say this. Our operator, the guy who's a partner with us, who helped us get this thing started, he and I sat down on the front end. We tried to look at all the variables of how to build a business like this where it would be somewhat passive. He still had to be involved, but he loves this. So it's more of a passion project for him. And unfortunately, the variables that we went into to build this in a profitable way just haven't shaken out. Like the things that you can't control. Like,
so and again, I don't want to get too much down in the mud, literally in the mud. This is a cow business with people, because it's very unlikely someone else is going to try to go out and restart a cow business. What is the number one lesson that you learned from this business that someone else could apply that has nothing to do with cows?
well, the thing that I was just trying to get to before you interrupted me is that
I'm
the
just trying to, like,
variables,
gas pedal this thing a little bit for everybody.
the variables that you cannot control. If you get into a business that is dependent on market valuation of your end product, and it's 2 and 3 year cycles of having to wait for this cow to be born, to be fed a certain way. They have to weigh a certain thing at a certain time before it has a certain value in the marketplace. And then also the market is changing ever so quickly with government regulations and everything else. It just
and by the
is
way,
too much.
Pun intended, we were betting on the come on this thing. I mean, seriously, like, we literally were thinking that our bull was going to be a major producer, and turns out he was not so much.
And let's just say Anvil had his best days early on, and he's shooting blanks at this point.
Yep. Well, but here's another thing. I would say, again, there's a level of, okay, I'm never going to be able to apply that in my life. I'm listening to you
exactly
talk about this, and thank you for wasting the last 3 minutes of my time talking about this. But here's the thing I would say I've learned in this lesson that you can't apply to other things, is that I don't believe there was a proven model that did what we wanted it to do. The people that were in this business were not trying to do what we were doing. People in this business were running a major operation, a major business that had multifaceted things. They had scale that allowed for them to have some hiccups here and there. We were not running at that scale, and we were trying to do something unique. That's what we do. And we had no proven model, and our model failed. And that's fine. It failed. No big deal. Unlike transitioning to the next line item, which is our Wake Up in Birmingham business, the business that we created after listening to 4, 5, 6 different people on our podcast talk about where this shared economy is going, what the opportunity in 2019, when we were learning about this, the Airbnb business was like $110 billion business. Now, just 2 years later, it's like $170 billion business. The CEO of Airbnb saying, hey, we need a million more hosts.
No, he didn't say a million. He said millions more with an S.
Whatever.
Okay. That's
a
bigger number for us.
To meet the supply, right? Or to meet the demand, we needed to increase supply by over 1 million.
Yes, millions. Yes.
that is a model that we had already seen. So we weren't trying to reinvent it. Like we were trying to just make something up out of scratch, like we were
That's true.
doing in the cattle business. And we're looking at the numbers, and we have, we've taken this business to where not only do we have our units, but we actually have investors that have their own units, and we're helping them manage those. We're looking at right now a kind of a franchise license model where this could be taken across the country and taking what we've learned and applying it to your city, having an operator run the business for you. Like if you're interested in that, by the way, go to info@wealthwithoutwallstreet.com and send STR, put in the subject line STR in a box. Info at Wealth Without Wall Street, put in STR in a box. There's an opportunity that we're about to roll out on that. I think it's going to be amazing. We've shared it with 2 people, and we have 2 people wanting to do it. So like, I think that speaks for itself.
We're on to something.
But just our part of that business, you take out all the cleaning income and stuff like that. We just get it down to the basic, what we charge nightly rent. We brought in almost 53,000, spent 37 in expenses. We netted 15,000 of cash flow.
Yes.
And then I being one of those investors, my daughter being one of those investors, we brought in additional $1,500 in some units that we have. And so like that model is working, bro. Like that is a cash machine. Somebody was asking me yesterday, what is the exit strategy to this? And I'm just honest in saying this. What is the exit strategy to our short-term rental business? I don't know, because I don't know when the right time is to unplug a cash machine. Like,
right.
When do you do that? Like, when do you feel good about unplugging the thing that's spitting out cash to you every single month? You can't do anything about it. And that's the way that our short-term rental business is. And because we've set it up right, we've followed a proven process, we've improved a proven process. I think this is one of the best things going for the right people. And I think you need to have a very specific investor DNA to run this business. And I think we've gotten that. We know what that looks like. And I think that's what gives us the ability to multiply this thing to a tremendous scale.
That's right. And that's a good point. You did make the connection there, that proven model versus just an idea, just a trailblazing kind of type of deal. There's way too much risk in that for us. So just follow a proven model makes a lot more sense. So let's talk about really quickly crypto or Ethereum miners that we have. Those last month were very strong. We came in between you and I and our 2 all the different computers we have is almost 15,000 net after expenses. That's for management and power expenses. So that's a big increase from the month before. It's almost 37% over last month.
Well,
that's huge.
And we get a lot of questions like, Joey and Russ, are you guys housing these computers there at home? Like, is this how you guys are going to get around the energy crisis? Is that you're going to heat your house by the 150-degree heat being pumped off these things? And the answer is no. Like, there's no way we would get these things anywhere near our house. You have to understand, like, there's money and scale, right? Like, we can get much cheaper electricity costs by partnering up with other groups. We have a group that we've partnered with that manages over 2,000 units. And we're just like a small, I think we've got 25 or 30 total out of this grouping. And we've partnered into that. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, well, how do I get involved in that? We have built a passive income mastermind. We're going to be sending out, if you're not already a part of our community, you need to be a part, because we're going to really soon be sending out an opportunity for you to get involved in that passive income mastermind. So go join our community if you haven't already, and you'll be a part of that email sequence when it goes out. But here's one of the things that I'm thinking about, Jay, as it relates to Ethereum. I'm wondering, do we start looking at moving some of that cash, some of that coin toward Bitcoin? Like, this is the speculation of the show, right? Is, do we believe Ethereum or Bitcoin is going to be the long-term person out there? What's your thoughts? Which one do you think is going to rise to the top? Because Ethereum over the last year has had a meteoric, rise, and I
Yeah.
wonder as everything pulls back, right? The market's going to crash soon. Like, and I'm not talking about the crypto market. I'm talking about the real estate market, the stock market, and that's not my speculation. That's Robert Kiyosaki. That's Warren Buffett sitting on over $100 and something billion in cash right now. Like the big money out there is betting on a crash, right? So
Right.
if that crash actually happens, which I feel like it will, then how will that hit the crypto market, right? It'll bleed over because Wall Street has already started investing into the crypto market. So which one of those two are going to pull back at a faster pace? Will it be Bitcoin or be Ethereum?
To be honest, I'm not educating myself well enough in the crypto space. I should be spending more time listening to people that know a lot more. But the way I kind of, at least high level, view this is Bitcoin is the currency that is the currency of the future, in my opinion. But whereas Ethereum has a utility function that everybody wants, the blockchain function of Ethereum is super valuable. And so I think you're going to end up with those two. And I think we should be kind of splitting some of that. Maybe I'm going heavier on Bitcoin and keeping some Ethereum as well. That's my thoughts.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at it over the last year, Ethereum was trading at like 1,300 last November. Now it's trading at 4264 coin. I mean, it's what is that, 300 something percent, right?
Crazy.
And then you go to Bitcoin over the last year, it was trading somewhere around 25,000. It's trading right at 60, right? So it's up like 125, 150%, whatever that is. That was that's the reason my question. You hadn't considered that, my bearded friend. But my wonder is we've ridden Ethereum really well with our mining and have held that. I wonder it makes sense for us to consider moving some of the Bitcoin, and as it pulls back, maybe Ethereum is the one that falls back. I don't know. I mean, that's the reason I hate dealing with crap like that, because I never know which one's going to do what. But nevertheless, let's quickly get down to the bottom of this, and then we have this is going to be a short one today. We've as always, we've underestimated our allotment of time, and we've got a group that's waiting on us here. So we've got your short-term rental RV sitting out there, Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie, this October was a little bit of a slower month. Now, just to clarify, last month I was off. I did not take into consideration the proper revenue. I had the report wrong. So our net from last September was 1658. For October, we brought in 1,055 in revenue, and the expense is 770. So only netted 285.16 in the month of October. And partly that was we had an empty week, and one of the trips at the end of the month carries over into November. So what that would be is November will be a much bigger month to kind of offset.
Okay, so I'm gonna here's the question, and maybe you're not long enough in this, but I feel like I'm gonna keep asking you every month, because there's people that listen to the show for the purpose to determine whether or not this is something they should consider. Do you feel like Cousin Eddie is a good thing for you? Like if you had to do it all over again, would you have still bought the RV instead of renting it when you went on your long trip, so that now you own it and you're forced to rent it? Do you still think it's a good idea?
It's still young, as you mentioned, but my gut instinct is I still love having it. It gives me flexibility for any trips that I want to take. And I'm already looking at some different places here that are close by that I want to take the girls to. Cheehaw Mountain, I want to take them up there. So doing something like this, I think, and it's also given me the opportunity to allow friends and family to use it. I mean, you just personally took it in November, and I think that was really fun to have someone else that I know being able to use it. So,
Which, by the way, I mean, I paid you. You offered it for free. I paid you, and had you not owned it, I would have never rented it. Like it would have never been something I would have done. So I would see that. I'm wondering if this is like a forced savings plan. Like, there's benefits to forced savings. We talked about that with IBC, right? When you're starting
Yeah.
your whole life policies, there's a win in just forcing yourself to save money. A lot of people
Yes.
won't do it. In this situation, I heard you say there's some trips I'm planning. Is this a forced savings plan with your family, meaning that you're going to take on some trips that you otherwise wouldn't have if you didn't own it?
It's possible. You know me, I'm always kind of looking for the next thing to take the girls on. And, Jessica's not so much interested in probably taking the RV out anytime soon. But I mean,
I
just me
cannot.
with the girls,
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unique experience. I think people are going to have one of two experiences. I love this. This was amazing, or I hate this. Please never again.
Where do you fall, Russ? We gonna wait till November?
No, yeah, we'll talk about my experience in November. Let's we also have another business that this is something we've been doing for the last 18 months. We've been building an information-based business that's where we're sharing content. People are thankfully buying that content and gaining tremendous value out of it. We started a short-term rental course in the month of October. We also started a passive income mastermind that spun out of our retreat that we did in Nashville. And all of that is created income, gratefully more than what we've spent in time and money into the deal. And if you add up all of the things here for the month of October, we've netted $67,566 in income streams that have nothing to do with our daily job. And I'm so grateful to see that number. It's much higher than it was in the month of September, but basically back to even where it was in July and August. So that's good, man.
Well, and at the end of the day, our hope with this is that it inspires you to take action. Russ and I, we've even shared today, we've had some losses. We've had some issues where this Iron City cattle is probably going to end up giving us about 10% of what we invested into it back. Now, that's not advisable. A lot of time, a lot of energy, and no profit is not a good thing. But you need to hear when we've taken action in the wrong direction, right? So that you can learn from those mistakes and not pay retail for them. However, you do hear the things that we are doing well and seeing success from. And we want to inspire you to do the same thing because it will give you freedom. It will provide the ability for if your business, your job that you're at right now says, hey, by the way, you have to do this and you don't want to do it, whether it's a shot or whatever it may be next, you now have the ability to say, I'm out. I don't have to be here. And that's the difference between passive income and no passive income. We want you to join us on that journey. If you haven't already, go to wealth.wallstreet.com/passport and get really clear on what your vision of financial freedom is so that then you can take the next step and find out what sort of investor you are and then start blazing your own trail. That's what we're here to do, is to support you in that process. So thanks as always for joining us for this October 2021 passive income report. And thanks for listening. And we hope to see you on the next one.